The defining tragedy of Albus Dumbledore's life wasn't the death of his sister, Ariana. It was the shame of his father. Percival Dumbledore committed a cardinal sin, attacking 3 Muggles after they assaulted his daughter, Ariana. He was sent to Azkaban, remaining silent until his death. His silence, intended to protect his daughter, instead broke his family, leaving Albus, Aberforth, and Kendra trapped by guilt and suspicion. But what if, in that packed courtroom, Percival had chosen to speak? What if he had revealed the barbaric truth, that Ariana was brutally attacked, and his crime was nothing more than an act of a desperate father seeking justice? The ramifications would have shattered the foundations of the wizarding world and forever changed the course of Dumbledore's fate. Had Percival spoken, the trial's outcome would have been dramatically different. The wizarding statute of secrecy prioritized hiding magic over basic human protection. But if the public learned that Muggles had brutally attacked an 8-year-old witch just for being different, the wave of sympathy would be monumental. Instead of a life sentence in Azkaban, Percival might have faced a much lighter penalty, perhaps even house arrest, based on provocation and defense of family. Crucially, the public's perception of the Dumbledores would shift from blood traitor and criminal to tragic victims fighting for their daughter's rights. This public acceptance would remove the enormous cloak of shame and secrecy that suffocated the Dumbledore family. This is where the world truly changes. The shame of his father's perceived unjust imprisonment fueled Albus's ambition and his need for control. He felt the wizarding world had failed his family. But without that deep-seated resentment, Albus is fundamentally different. Grindelwald's entire seductive pitch to Albus relied on exploiting that shame, using the greater good argument as a cure for the world's perceived injustice. If Percival had exposed the truth, Albus would have seen that the system, though flawed, had failed to protect the child. Not that Muggles were inherently deserving of fear. Grindelwald loses his most potent ideological weapon. Albus, less obsessed with power and personal guilt, might have recognized Grindelwald's darkness much sooner. The famous bond might never have solidified, perhaps preventing the tragedy in Godric's Hollow entirely. The unbroken silence. What if Percival Dumbledore had spoken? Percival's silence was meant to protect Ariana from being analyzed by the Ministry's Department for the Regulation and Control of Magical Creatures. But had he told the truth, Ariana's condition, her inability to control her powers, would have been seen as the result of a traumatic assault, not an inherent danger. Instead of being hidden and feared, Ariana might have received specialized care at St. Mungo's, or at least been integrated more openly into the family's life. This relieves Kendra Dumbledore of the soul-crushing burden of hiding and managing her daughter alone. With Percival perhaps closer to home, the pressure on Aberforth and Albus is lessened. The 3-way duel, where Ariana dies by an unknown spell, may never have occurred, as the family would have been operating in the light, not the destructive darkness of secrecy. The core lesson Dumbledore taught Harry about choosing love over power would have been learned by Albus decades earlier, not forged in the crucible of his father's unjust fate and his sister's tragic death. The tragedy of the Dumbledore family was not the crime, but the cover-up. Percival's silence created a legacy of shame that haunted Albus for a century, driving him toward the power and secrecy he spent the rest of his life fighting against. Had Percival simply spoken the truth, the name Dumbledore would have meant courage and justice from the start, and the darkest chapter of Albus's life might never have been written. If Percival Dumbledore had spoken, he might have been freed, but Albus would never have been hardened by that deep sense of injustice. So tell us, was Percival's silence the necessary sacrifice that made Albus Dumbledore the man destined to defeat Grindelwald? Or was it the tragic, unnecessary secret that corrupted his heart? Share your deep analysis and theories in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Omniva for more magical world explorations. And let us know, What impossible what-if scenario should we tackle next?